Jayo Vishwakarmahamsa Srimad. Hey, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jai Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Glories to Sri Guru.
Move that like that. Yes.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 O my Lord, Sri Krishna, son of Vasudeva, O all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, translation and commentary by Srila Prabhupada, Canto 4, Chapter 29, Text 35. Arteya vidyamanepi Sangsritir nadivar Manasaling Swapna Charito Yata Arteya vidyamanepi Sangsritir nadivartate Manasalinga rupena Swapne vicharito yata Arteya vidyamanepi Sangsritir nanivartate Manasalinga rupena Swapne vicharito yata. Yeah?
Arteya Vidyamanepi Samsutir Nadivartate Manasalinga Rupena Swapne Vicharito Yata Arteya Vidyamanepi Manasalinga Rupena Swapne Vicharito Yata Arteya
Manepi
Samsutir Nadivartate Manasalinga Rupena Swapne Vicharito Yata.
Anyone else? Word, word for word. Arte,
Arte,
factual cause.
factual cause.
He,
He,
certainly.
certainly.
Avidyamane,
Avidyamane,
not existing.
not existing.
Api,
Api,
although. Sangsritihi,
Samskriti,
material existence.
material existence.
Na,
No,
not.
not.
Nivartate,
Nivartate,
ceases. Manasa,
Manasa,
by the mind.
by mind.
Lingarupena,
Linga Rupena,
by subtle form.
by self-form.
Swapne,
Swapne,
in a dream, Vicharataha,
Charata,
acting, Yatha,
Yata,
as. Translation, sometimes we suffer because we see a tiger in a dream or a snake in a vision, but actually there is neither a tiger nor a snake. Thus, we create some situation in a subtle form and suffer the consequences. These sufferings cannot be mitigated unless we are awakened from our dream. Please repeat. Sometimes we suffer
sometimes we suffer,
because we see a tiger in a dream,
as we see a tiger in a dream,
or a snake in a vision.
or a snake in a vision.
But actually, there is neither a tiger nor a snake.
Actually, there is neither a tiger nor a snake.
Thus, we create some situation
Thus we create some situation
in a subtle form
in a subtle form,
and suffer the consequences.
suffer the consequences.
These sufferings cannot be mitigated
These sufferings cannot be mitigated
unless we are awakened from our dream.
unless we are awakened from our dream.
Srila Prabhupada's purport, as stated in the Vedas, the living entity is always separate from two kinds of material bodies, the subtle and the gross. All our sufferings are due to these material bodies. This is explained in Bhagavad Gita 2:14, famous verse if you know it. Oh, it's right up there anyway. Matra sparshasta kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkada gamapayino nityas tangstitikshasva bharata. Quote, O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception, O scion of Bharat, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. Unquote. Lord Krishna thus informed Arjuna that all the distresses brought about by the body come and go. One has to learn how to tolerate them. Material existence is the cause of all our sufferings, for we do not suffer once we are out of the material condition. The Vedas therefore enjoin that one should factually understand that he is not material, but is actually Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi. This understanding cannot be fully realized unless one is engaged in Brahman activities, namely devotional service. To get free from the material conditions, one has to take to Krishna consciousness. That is the only remedy. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnanandjana Shalakaya Chaksuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master is kindly opening my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. So starting with Lavanga's verse yesterday, Narada Muni has been switching from, before he was making points meant to awaken King Barhishat's detachment, and now he's getting right into a direct discussion of devotional service, which is the positive. So detach, because he was laying bare the miseries of material existence. Okay, so what's the remedy? Devotional service. And Prabhupada ended the purport by saying that is the only remedy, Krishna consciousness. In today's verse, Narada Muni describes how we suffer, what is the Sanskrit? Linga rupena swapne, by subtle form in a dream. And then he ends, Narada Muni ends what he's saying by saying, these sufferings cannot be mitigated unless we are awakened from our dream. So there's more information about the sufferings that we experience in dreams. why they happen, what happens, why they happen. I found in later canto, this is the fourth canto, in the eighth canto, 8, 4, 14, and 15, very interesting. In the context is the Gajendra Leela, the elephant, and 8, 4, 14, Shukadeva is saying to Parikshit, I have now described the wonderful power of Krishna as displayed when the Lord delivered the king of the elephants. Gajendra means king of the elephants. O best of the Kuru dynasty, those who hear this narration become fit to be promoted to the higher planetary systems. Simply because of hearing this narration, they gain a reputation as devotees, and here we go. They gain a reputation as devotees. They are unaffected by the contamination of Kali Yuga, and they never see bad dreams. It's one of the Shruti falls, the result of hearing this pastime. They never see bad dreams. No purport, but in the next verse, in the purport, Prabhupada says a few things about bad dreams. Translation, therefore, after getting up from bed in the morning, those who desire their own welfare, especially the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and in particular the Brahmana Vaishnavas, should chant this narration as it is, without deviation, to counteract the troubles of bad dreams. So if you want to be free from bad dreams, apart from observing yourselves in the Leela, this is one of the side benefits. And Prabhupada says in the purport, this is interesting, because of sinful activities, at night we have bad dreams. Coming from our past. Or it could be, mess up and we do sinful activities even while trying to practice devotional service. Because of sinful activities at night we have bad dreams, which are very troublesome. Indeed. I mean, we've all had nightmares, right? And then you wake up and you're so relieved. Oh, my God. Thank God that was a nightmare. But anyway, there's more coming about that. Which are very troublesome. Maharaj Yudhisthira was obliged to see hell. Someone, on the level of Maharaj Yudhisthira was obliged to see hell because of a slight deviation from devotional service to the Lord. Therefore, dusvapna, bad dreams, occur because of sinful activities. And this is it's connected. It's an interesting kind of sidebar. Prabhupada continues in a different direction. He goes, a devotee sometimes accepts a sinful person as his disciple. And Prabhupada was accepting all of so many disciples who, doing such bad stuff. Sometimes accepts a sinful person as his disciple. And to counteract the sinful reactions he accepts from the disciple, he has to see a bad dream. So sometimes Prabhupada would say that. My only misdeed was I accepted too many, unqualified people, and therefore I had to suffer. But at the same time, he willfully did that. And so what is the consequence? He has to see a bad dream. Nonetheless, the spiritual master is so kind that in spite of having bad dreams due to the sinful disciple, he accepts this troublesome business for the deliverance of the victims of Kali Yuga. So Prabhupada says flat out, this is why the spiritual masters, and him specifically, for the deliverance of the victims of Kali, he just takes it on as a burden. He's so compassionate, so kind, he just does this. After initiation, therefore, and now Prabhupada's turning to disciples, after initiation, therefore, a disciple should be extremely careful not to commit again any sinful act that might cause difficulties for himself and the spiritual master. And then Prabhupada's hearkening back to initiation. He says, before the deity, before the fire, before the spiritual master, before the Vaishnavas, the honest disciple promises to refrain from all sinful activity. Therefore, he must not again commit sinful acts and thus create a troublesome situation. Okay, we're going to go further in this topic of visions of hell and bad dreams, and he mentioned Yudhisthira there. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, what else can produce bad dreams is because we tend to think about when we sleep what we meditated on during the day. So even if it's ostensibly, meaning externally, practicing devotional service, we might meditate on something that's sinful or just not good for us or good for anybody, and then that can cause a nightmare. Yeah. Can produce bad dreams to experience karma on the subtle plane. Yeah, what does it say in the verse? Linga rupena manasa, linga rupena svapne. So, yeah, by the mind, by subtle form, in a dream. In his comments to today's verse, so Vishwanath, I looked at Vishwanath's comments to today's verse. Vishwanath says, happiness and distress of the body don't affect, quote, the jiva who is dissociated from the body. So somebody who's looked at, like a mukta purush, or even Brahman realized he's not affected by the happiness and distress of the body because he completely doesn't identify with the body at all. Yeah, but Vishwanath says, in a dream, false objects continue to give false, because temporary, continue to give suffering to the jiva moving about with the mind, who's identifying with the subtle mind, which is a covering or upadi, Vishwanath says, on the jiva, linga rupena, subtle body, until the person wakes up. So we wake up literally, from sleep, and we're so glad. Oh, I'm so glad that was just a dream. Oh, Krishna, I've got to clean up my act. I got to stop meditating on material desires, which are carrying over into sleep, into dreaming, until the person wakes up. So then we completely wake up to Krishna consciousness, and we're not identifying with the gross body of the subtle mind. In this connection, let's look more closely at the case of King Yudhisthira, which Prabhupada mentioned in that 8th canto purport, who had to suffer a nightmare or a vision of hell because, as Srila Prabhupada wrote in Bhagavatam 8.4.15 purport, quote, of a slight deviation from devotional service to the Lord. You probably know this story, most of you, of what happened and why Yudhisthira had to see hell. But I thought I would recount it. Now, this is my godbrother Sankirtan's very cinematic rendition of the Mahabharata by stringing together highlight stories from the Mahabharata in a very way faithful to the original text as translated by this fellow Ganguly in the late 19th century. I asked Sankirtan, I said, did you make anything up here? Because it reads really well. He said, no. I stuck right to the text. But of course, my English, I retold it in a form that was more, readable. And if you ever read the Ganguly, it's pretty unreadable. It's really tough to read. So first of all, we're going to look at that pastime of why Yudhisthira had to see hell, and it's in connection with the with Drona and Drishtadyumna. Dronacharya was the Pandava's martial arts guru, but circumstantially was on the other side, right? Bhishma, Drona, Prabhukatak, Krishna drew the chariot up right, Mukata, right in their face, so Arjuna could see them, because Krishna wanted Arjuna to get weak knees. My mouth is drying up. Okay, so here's Krishna. Here's a part of the Mahabharata here. Quote, "Listen to me," Krishna spoke up, and they turned toward him. Here's the context. Drona is killing everybody. Bhishma's fallen, and Drona immediately becomes the new commander, but he's also unbeatable. Nobody can beat him, right? So I'll just wait till we have the conversation over here. Okay. So so Drona is the new commander of the crew. It's around the 12th day of the battle, something like that. "Listen to me," Krishna spoke up, because they're all saying it's hopeless. How are we going to beat Drona? We can't beat Drona. "Listen to me," Krishna spoke up, and all the Pandavas turned toward him. In one sense, it is hopeless. As a warrior, Drona is unsurpassed. No one can defeat him. That is, unless Drona on his own lays aside his weapons. Nakula was curious. Why would he do that? Come on. He's a warrior. He's not going to lay down his weapons. And then, "The only way he'll give up the fight is when he hears his son is dead," said Krishna. "But he's not dead," Yudhisthira interjected. This must be in the night, because they didn't fight at night. "He's not dead," Yudhisthira interjected. "No, he's miles away, fighting at the far end of the valley. But if you declare," that's Ashvatthama, his son, "but if you declare that Ashvatthama is dead, if you declare, Yudhisthira, that Ashvatthama is dead, Drona will accept it as an unequivocal truth. I cannot speak a falsehood." This is Dharmaraj, right? The son of Yamaraj and Kunti, right? "I cannot speak a falsehood," Yudhisthira insisted. And now here's Krishna. "You must. To speak a lie in order to save yourselves from annihilation is no sin." So Chris is introducing a higher principle. You're the good guys. So you got to do what I say here. The others heartily approved of Krishna's plan. Yudhisthira remained reluctant. This is really bad. He's resisting Krishna's will here. Yudhisthira remained reluctant, even as he remembered Drona's blessing. Now, Drona did bless him before the battle, to him on the first day of battle. On the first day, yeah. Now, this is what Drona had said earlier. "I cannot be vanquished in battle, that is, unless I hear an unpalatable truth, which causes me to lay down my weapons." But here's Yudhisthira's response. "It's still not right to do such a thing," Yudhisthira reflected. So Yudhisthira is really attached to his mode of goodness thing here. Okay. So Yudhisthira said that, but then it says in the Mahabharata, But no one was listening. No one wanted to listen to him. Bhima took the initiative and immediately, here's what Bhima did. Anybody know what he did? He killed an elephant named Ashvatthama and wandered across the battlefield, brazenly declaring, Ashvatthama is dead. So Bhima got right into it, right? he's the heavy. Ashvatthama is dead. When this news reached Drona's ears, so Drona didn't accept this at face because Bhima was saying it, right? Drona, searched out Yudhisthira, who was surrounded by his brothers, and Drishtadyumna. Now, Drishtadyumna, Drona had killed his father, Drupad. So Drishtadyumna really wanted revenge. So Drishtadyumna was there too. With his heart pounding wildly, Drona called out, Yudhisthira, I want to hear it from your lips. Tell me, is it true? Krishna gave Yudhisthira a hard look. You better do this. You better tell this white lie, right? White lie. Yudhisthira answered, yes, it's true. Ashvatthama is dead. But while loudly saying the name Ashvatthama, he had whispered beneath his breath, the elephant. Ashvatthama hata iti gajaha. He screamed, Ashvatthama hata iti, but under his breath, gajaha. So he satisfied himself that he said the elephant. But Drona didn't hear that. Hearing of his son's death from Yudhisthira, Drona tossed aside his weapons and sat down in his chariot. He thought, why continue the fight? What is the value of comforts or fame or happiness? Now he wanted only to abandon this world. He closed his eyes in yogic meditation and he evoked Brahman by uttering the sacred syllable Om. Celestial melodies and hymns resounded in the sky to honor Drona and proclaim his glories. Now, while he's doing that, he's in Padmasana, he's on the chariot, he's uttering Om. But here's what happens while he's doing that. Seeing Drona resigned to his fate, Drishtadyumna, right, seized the moment. He reached for his sword and ran toward Drona's chariot. Krishna, Yudhisthira, and Arjuna called out to him in desperation, Drishtadyumna, no! Don't touch him! It's not becoming of you. But Drishtadyumna did not hear their pleas. Thirsting for revenge, he rushed forward, knocking Kauravas out of his way. He grabbed Drona by the hair and with one swift motion of his sword, cut off his head. Yudhisthira and Arjuna watched in horror as their teacher's body slumped to the ground, his blood overflowing upon the earth. Now here's how this section ends. Krishna is saying this. Krishna told Yudhisthira and Arjuna, Drona had himself already given up his own life, and his spirit soul flew from his body even before Drishtadyumna's sword touched him. So he wasn't even in the body. Boom, he was out the Brahmarandra. And then, too late. Okay, so that's a little background of why, of what happened, that Yudhisthira had resisted Krishna's will. And now what we don't usually hear, we've heard that part of the story, we don't usually hear of the vision he actually had of hell. And it's in the Mahabharata. I don't think it's in the Bhagavatam, but it's in the Mahabharata. All right, so this is very interesting of what Krishna actually had to see. Okay, so now this is skipping to a later part of the Mahabharata when Yudhishthira and his brothers are going back to Godhead, and first they're seeing the heavenly planets on their way. Yudhishthira entered the celestial realms to sounds of music and singing, which overwhelmed his mind and senses and made the hair on his back stand on end. The countryside was bedecked with pristine lakes and gardens. Marble pillars with sacred inscriptions rose in all directions and spread across the horizon. The mountaintops glittered with gold. A myriad of siddhas, charanas, and other celestial denizens lined the way to greet Yudhishthira. So as they're going back to God, and Yudhishthira specifically here, they're honoring him. This is a great, great, great soul to greet Yudhishthira. But the singing stopped abruptly, and a great murmur arose from the celestials. They could not believe their eyes. Yudhishthira had attained their realm in his own human body. Hey, he's still in an earth body. What's he doing up here in the subtle dimensions? No one had ever done this before at the time of death. Okay, so, and he thinks Yudhishthira, as far as he knows, he's still with his brothers and their wife, Draupadi. So now it says, Yudhishthira's eyes searched eagerly among the crowd for Draupadi and for his brothers. That's all he wanted to know, because they're on their way back to Godhead. He wants to make sure they're all with him. Where are they? He inquired of Indra, because Indra was showing him the heavenly planets. He inquired of Indra when he could not find them. Indra's mood, now here's where the vision starts coming. Indra's mood seemed to change. Yudhishthira, don't be attached to human relations and affections. Forget the past. Stay here and enjoy yourself to your heart's content. Stay here in heaven. But he's not even really in heaven. Listen to this. Indra's chariot halted before a mansion. There, Duryodhana, without a blemish. You remember how Duryodhana died? He was smashed by Bhima in a fight. Smashed his thighs, broke his back, broke his whole body. There, Duryodhana, without a blemish and in ideal health and humor, relaxed on the patio, surrounded by many admirers. When Yudhishthira saw Duryodhana being lavished with such attention, anger welled up in his heart. What's he doing here? His greed and envy destroyed a dynasty, and he achieves this in return. Now who's saying this? Okay, this is Indra still saying this now. His tour guide. Yudhishthira, I'm surprised by your speech. Here in the celestial kingdom, no enmity should exist. Duryodhana has attained heaven because he died a warrior's death. And now here's what Yudhishthira says. I do not see Karna or Bhima. I do not see Arjuna, nor Nukula and Sahadev. Where are those great warriors? Indra says, they have gone elsewhere. Yudhishthira says, then why should I want to remain here? This place will not satisfy me if I do not have my brothers and Draupadi. I wish to go where they have gone. Indra beckoned, I wish to go where they have gone. So watch this. Indra beckoned a messenger to take Yudhisthira to his brothers. The messenger proceeded quickly on foot, and Yudhisthira followed behind. So now we're going to descend into the hellish nightmare. The skies darkened, and the path sloped down past jagged cliffs. The messenger led Yudhisthira into a lifeless, smoke-filled valley with lakes of boiling oil and putrid smells. Corpses and bones lay scattered across the landscape. The ground was soaked with blood. From deep within the fog that surrounded Yudhisthira, a cacophony of moans and cries assaulted his ears. Yudhisthira glimpsed vultures as they swooped down and ripped at the flesh of depraved and tortured souls. Yudhisthira thought, surely this is a place where the sinful are brought to be punished. The messenger stopped abruptly. This is as far as I go. You're not going any further into hell. This is as far as I go. You could return with me, or you're welcome to go on alone. Anguish enveloped Yudhisthira. His muscles ached as never before. He wanted to go on, but the stench and cries were unbearable. Let's go back, he said. He's agreeing. He's taking up, he says he wants to go with the messenger back. Let's go back, he said, as he turned to leave. Voices called out to him, familiar voices. Please help us, brother. Show us compassion. Don't go. Stay a while. Your presence relieves our pain. All of us are here. And they each identified themselves by name. Karna, Bhima, Arjun, Nakula, Sahadev. And a frail voice, oh my lord, it is your good wife, Draupadi. Yudhisthira, in disbelief, fell to his knees, and hot tears streamed down his face. Moment by moment, his grief turned into rage. What type of perverse joke is this? How has destiny so twisted the laws of karma? My head is spinning. Am I walking through a dream? Have the gods forgotten what is righteous and just? Yudhisthira turned to the messenger. I will not leave these great souls. Go back without me. Tell your master his, quote, heaven is a sham and his blessings are useless. I will stay here to comfort my wife and brothers. And as Yudhisthira's tears soaked the ground, Indra, Dharma, as Yamaraj, along with his father, along with the various gods of universal affairs, descended upon that spot. Okay, so then they listen to what happens now. All of Yudhisthira's terrible visions disappeared. They were testing him. They knew he was so glorious that he was going to have this compassionate response. The skies became illuminated and the landscape became lush and full of life. Opulent palaces meant for the Pandavas appeared nearby where the sacred Ganges serenely flowed. Indra spoke, O Yudhisthira the wise, we welcome you and your wife and brothers into the celestial regions. Stay here for a time and grace us with your presence, because I know they're going back to God. We want your Sangha. Before you continue your journey home to the eternal abode, Dharma, Yamaraj, smiled upon Yudhisthira, his son. This was my third and final test for you, to see if you would endure hell for the sake of the people you love. Indeed, this type of human love will be rare in the Kali Yuga. Indra explained. Okay, now Indra's going to say something which Dharmaraj is going to contradict actually, but Indra speaks up here. Quote, the vision of hell you experienced was but a brief illusion. Kings perform both good and bad deeds, and this is the rule. If one's sins outweigh the good, he goes to heaven for some time, and later must suffer in hell. But when the good deeds are greater, he will experience hell first, and afterwards is free to enjoy heavenly pleasures continuously. The only blemish on your deeds is that you lied to Drona. That you lied to Drona to make him think his son was dead. For this reason, you had to experience hell briefly. Now, but Yamaraj is going to say, that's not right. My dear Indra, Dharma interjected, I think you have missed the point. Krishna told him to lie. Yudhishthira only lied to save the lives of his men. There is no sin in that. But then Indra says, but is not a lie under any circumstances still a lie? My friend, Dharmaraj is saying, I am the judge who upholds Dharma. The answer to your question lies with Krishna, who is the actual author of Dharma, of what is truth and what is just. And so in the battle at Kurukshetra, it was Krishna's will to settle misdeeds with the use of misdeeds. Fight fire with fire. All right. So, yeah. And then Krishna says, or was this Yudhishthira? Let's see. No. Anyway, somebody says, my dear Dharma, I think these points will be discussed for millennia to come. And here we are, millennia later. Yes. So it will be, Indra. So it will be. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, so we have bad dreams brought about by our, sinful desires sometimes, or Krishna summarizing some karma, maybe it's from past lives, or sometimes even great souls have bad dreams for our instruction because they hesitate to execute Krishna's order. So I'll take questions and comments now. Okay.
So I have a comment and a question. My comment is actually just this morning, I have a terrible habit of reading the headlines, and I read a headline that eating cheese too close to bed causes nightmares. That was a new study that just came out.
And do you do that?
Huh?
Do you do that?
Not usually. Huh? Yeah. Anyway, I just thought that was funny and then class today was about what causes nightmares. Because science says cheese. Okay. Anyway, that's my comment. My question is, so, he was being tested, to see if he'd stay in hell with the people he loved. But at the same time, we're told to, be detached from the people we love. And so how do you can you speak on that a little bit?
Yeah, that's a good point. Be detached from the Queen Kunti said that day. Stehopasam vidang chindi, cut the bonds of my affection. Well, anyway, in this context, and in general, we want to cut the bonds from our material bonds, but we want to always be attached to helping the devotees and doing whatever it takes, Just like my prayer before I went during Guru Puja, I always go here, make a prayer. And today my prayer was to please protect 4 people. Borijan and his ongoing, fight with prostate cancer. my brother Johnny, who's fighting colon cancer. My dear daughter, who has been missing, she's a missing person for a week. We don't know if she's dead or alive. And so, and also, I just got over. Did you see? I don't know if anybody read
About Ambarish.
about
Yeah.
Ambarish. Yeah, he just had a stroke. So, yeah. Yeah. So that's really intense. Yeah, because he's the main reason people give to the TOVP.
Right.
He gave the seed money, and then he goes around and he keeps giving matching donations. He's showing he's leading the way. We want to, and what I said in the prayer was, so that according to their own, in their own way, and in your own way, Lord, they can come closer to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Prabhu.
I was going to ask the same question actually, but I was going to bring up the point that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in the prayers of Queen Kunti, he brings out the point that Queen Kunti was not praying this in regards to Arjuna and the Pandavas. And
Bhaktivinoda says this.
No, Vishwanath.
Vishwanath, okay.
And he says that this prayer was only in connection with those Vrishnis and Bhojas who are not devotees.
Mm-hmm. Well, you don't necessarily get that from the purport or anything. Or the verse.
That's what Vishwanath said. Yeah, and so we did when we were Bhakti Vaibhava Padmanaya, Prabhu taught that section.
Wow.
They made that point very clear that actually we want to be attached to devotees.
Yes.
And so he wasn't praying in that way. But this question has come up, I think, before. That why is Yudhisthira even bothering to deal with Indra and the heavenly planets when he should go back to Godhead?
Well, he was just they were begging him to come, and they wanted his son. They wanted him but it was part of a whole. That part was, as Indra thought, it was because he had told a lie. He thought he was being an instrument in giving Yudhisthira some little karma here, vision of hell. But then actually, when he passed the test, and, he wanted to stay. He's go out, stay with my, kith and kin here, my devotees. Right? Yeah. Then they still beg, oh, please stay and just give us your sangha, and then we know you're on your way home now.
I had one dream when I was little of hell, and it's traumatized. It was so traumatizing that I still remember it to this day.
You had a vision of hell as a Christian boy.
As a baby, and this was the scariest dream I ever had in my life.
How old were you?
I probably was like 4 or 5.
Okay, you were a little.
But it sticks with me so deeply, like I can never forget it. But it was almost like that, like what you described, and there was some creature there, but that dream was not a dream. It was so terrifying that it's still in my heart. Like I still see it clearly as day.
So I wonder why you had that dream.
Probably cheese.
I had a lot of fear.
Jesus, not cheese. Jesus.
I had a lot of fear of hell when I was young.
Yeah.
Like I was like terrified of hell. I was always thinking I'm going to go to hell. Like until I was like 10 years old, I was just like horrified. Like I'm going to go to hell. I was convinced that I was going to hell.
Yeah, real fear-based religion, huh? Okay. So any more questions or comments? No. Anybody ever had any nightmares they'd like to share? And how they're glad it was just a nightmare, not real?
I mean, I've had a lot of nightmares, but I can't really remember.
You just
Yeah, just get out of here.
Get out of here, please. Okay, on that note, we'll end. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.